Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, or wherever you happen to be in Australia or around the world. Welcome to the weekly video from the Purple Penny shop in Adelaide. I guess just before we get started this week, we've got two 2021 ambulance $2 rolls available from people who didn't follow through from their orders, and anyone who comments live today in the video gets to a chance to purchase one of those rolls. And if you need a postage will be on top of that, and the purchase price will be the issue price, which is $100. You will need to comment during the live video though. Comments made after the video finishes today or when it goes up on YouTube won't be in the running. So everyone who is watching, please do post comment, and I'll pick a couple of people during the week to have the chance to purchase those rolls. Those rolls are selling for about $130 or $135 on the secondary market, so it is a good opportunity to pick one up if you haven't managed to get one yet. So this week has been super busy here in the shop in terms of sales and purchasing. We are still seeing the October mint releases go out. The C mint marks arrived this week. There's still a few rolls hanging around here. It's been a good week actually. We enjoyed last week very much. The weather's beautiful. I feel like we're coming out of the COVID stuff. I feel like everyone is feeling more optimistic, and it's been a pleasure coming in here during the week. So let's have a look at the news slide for the week. So as I said, the ambulance C mint marks arrived on Friday. Catherine is in the room over there busily packaging up anyone who had ordered one that needs it mailed out. And those of you that are here in Adelaide who expressed interest in those ambulance C mint marks, not everyone's been allocated everything that they were interested in, but I think we've managed to allocate at least one to everyone. So if you are here in Adelaide and you put your name down with us via Facebook or at the list directly in the shop, then please do pop in and pick those up when we open up on Wednesday. So the annual report came out last week, and I had all sorts of intentions of going back through the last couple of years' reports and using some information that Catherine had compiled a few years ago, and actually just seeing, I guess, how many years the mintages of some coins span across different reports. And I guess that all comes about from the fact that the end of World War II coins have only got a cumulative mintage of 600,000 or 700,000. I can't remember. I'm not really keeping up with it. And of course, all the usual Facebook sellers that have got hordes of these things in bags or in cotton co rolls or in slabs have all come out of the woodwork, and they're, I guess, relying on people speculating that those end of World War II mintages are final figures. And I'm not really sure how many times I can suggest to people that speculating on mintages really only wins for one group of people, and they're the people that hoard these things at face value. And if you're sort of chasing after these things when there's a lot of heat in the market, then I don't like your chances of doing very well with them. So the mintages are speculating. The mintages are not, I would say, about 99% certain not complete for that end of World War II coin. The example that someone quite rightly brought up the other day was the repatriation $2 coin that spanned 4 different reports. So, by all means, if you are interested in speculating, then go your hardest. But, if the whole thing blows up in your face, please don't blame the mint. please don't blame the people that you bought it from. You can only blame yourself, because it is just purely speculation. I will try to spend some time in the next week or two looking through the report a bit better with Catherine, because Catherine spent a lot of time looking through mint reports before it was fashionable, and she's got all sorts of information squirreled away, and it will be interesting, I think, for us to just look at what the average number of reports $2 coins happen to span before the mintages are finalised. There was a really interesting news story released on the weekend. The CEO of the Mint was interviewed, and it turns out that lockdowns are good for coins. The demand for all the copper nickel coins, apart from the 50-cent piece, has gone up by a significant amount, and the production of coins has gone up by a significant amount. Interestingly enough, dollar coins, the demand for those hasn't gone up, and that's probably because the South Australian government went coinless with their pokies here in South Australia. So I thought that was really interesting, and in particular they mentioned the 5-cent piece, that the demand for those has gone up, and the director of the Mint did say that the cost of making a 5-cent piece outweighs its value, but that the Mint had absolutely no plans of getting rid of it anytime soon, because there is still demand for it in amongst the population. The other coin news story that popped up this week, and I must give some credit to the Coin and Banknote Dealers United page where I saw this, was the fact that a good luck farthing was found on the HMS Victory. And the HMS Victory is the ship that Nelson fought on the Battle of Trafalgar, and it's a ship that is still in existence, and I think they were remasting it, and when they took the main mast down, they found a coin under the main mast, and it was a good luck farthing that had been put there in the 1890s, which was the last time that the coin had been remastered. And I guess good luck coins like that are a tradition that has gone through many parts of society, and I was thinking about it on the drive-in this morning. Of course, there's the old silver coins and the Christmas pudding, which is a very English thing to do. We often get reports of people demoing houses here in Adelaide and also in Sydney, finding coins on the top of lintels or under doorposts, and that was a good luck type of thing. And my dear old Nana, who's long gone, she always thought it was bad luck to give someone a wallet or a purse without a coin or a note in there, because the good luck coin and the good luck note would help bring that person wealth into the future. So yeah, good luck farthing found on the HMS Victory, very interesting find. Not a significant coin, it's an 1890s farthing. Paul has just said it's an 1894 farthing, which is not an uncommon coin, and it was heavily corroded. But yeah, I just thought that was a really interesting thing to see in the news this week. So let's have a look at some comments before we jump onto the find of the week that's come into the shop. I won't say hello to everyone today, because everyone is going to say hello, and we've got a bunch of people watching today. But I will just have a look at whether there's any questions in here. Thanks, Ben, for saying that purple suits me. It doesn't really, but it's nice of you to say that. If Catherine was here, you could say that. Yeah, no worries, Alistair, you were in the running to be able to purchase an ambulance roll, mate, and everyone else who's interested in in purchasing a roll. So you're all in the running to purchase one of those. Yeah, so Paul Leonard has said quite rightly that ambulance security rolls are popping up in banks. Not only rolls, Paul, I've also seen some security bags popping up, and it's really interesting that those are appearing so soon when some of the other $2 coins, Aboriginal flag coin, I'm looking at you, haven't appeared in circulation yet. Bob is asking, any idea how long the RAM issue their annual report? After the RAM issue their annual report, do they adjust the details of circulating coin mintages on their website? Bob, that is a question for the Mint via their Facebook page. I'm sure that they would love to give you an answer for that question. Yeah, Edward Blackwood, if the Mint restruck any 1930 pennies yet, I don't know. Wishing Wells, yeah, there's another example of coins for good luck. And right, so we'll jump onto the find of the week that came into the shop here, and this came in a collection of coins on Friday. So it's a 9-carat fob. It's about the same size as a 10-cent piece, and it's engraved on one side, 3rd Australian Light Horse Brigade football competition, YMCA 1917-18 premiers, and on the back it says Corporal A. Cook. Fantastic prize medallion given out for probably a association football or soccer competition held in the Middle East during World War One, amongst the 3rd Australian Light Horse Brigade. And those of you who know me would know that this is something that interests me greatly, but the name on the back, Corporal A. Cook, I spent some time on the weekend and actually discovered the name of that person, or the identity of that person, because this fob came in with a railway union badge. The railway union was for a railway that was in Western Australia, and the 10th Light Horse Brigade was mostly formed in Western Australia. So I had to hunt through the National Archives records for all the A. Cooks that enlisted in Western Australia, and happened to find one Arthur Ambrose Cook, who was a ticket inspector for the Midlands Railway Company in Western Australia, who happened to enlist in the 10th Light Horse Regiment. And if you look through his record, he actually came back to Australia for about 6 months because he was ill after he fought at Gallipoli, and then went back to the Middle East after that. And that tallied up nicely with a newspaper article I found about Arthur Cook, who came back to Western Australia for 6 months before heading back to the battlefields in the Middle East. So that's a fabulous find, not something I've ever seen before, and probably not something I'll ever see again. And it's lovely to be able to nail that down to a particular person and know when they were born and when they passed away and what they did with their lives. So yeah, it's a fabulous find, and it's part of the reason that I love this job, for finding things like that. And I would have to say that that's probably about the best thing we've ever had come in here. So it's a lovely thing. Right, topic of the week. Topic of the week this week was going to be the Mint report, but I got to say I got a bit weary of all the talk about the mintages and things last week, so I thought I might give it a couple of weeks before I jumped onto that. So this week we're going to, because this is another thing that has popped up during the week, is private issues. And by private issues I mean private issue numismatic covers, or philatelic numismatic covers, or postal numismatic covers, private issue coins on cards. And I guess if you have been around coins for a while, this is a topic that comes up. It seems to be quite cyclic. Every 5 years or so, this topic raises its head, and there's a bunch of people who say that private issues are great, and then for whatever reason there's people who say that they're terrible. Now, I spoke to Catherine's just out there. I spoke to her about this, and Catherine and I greatly believe that you should collect what you like, and whether that happens to be a private issued item or an item that's issued by a large body like the Royal Australian Mint or Australia Post, then we don't think it really matters. If it interests you, then collect it. And I guess here in Australia, private issues pretty much predated issues by the big institutions like Australia Post and the Royal Australian Mint. So, for example, the philatelic numismatic covers or postal numismatic covers, the first one of those that was issued by the Mint was the Year of the Family one in 1994. But there was a long history of coins on covers being issued here in Australia, dating back to the 1960s at least. And certainly in the 1970s, it was big business in America and Europe and here in Australia, and it wasn't official government bodies releasing those things. And the same can be said about first day covers, which are not necessarily coin related, but first day covers were primarily privately issued things here in Australia for decades and decades and decades. There were a few covers that were created by the Postmaster General, but most of the first day covers in the pre-decimal era were private issues. And in the decimal era, the Australia Post didn't release their first day cover until 1970, so there was 4 whole years where there was only private issues that were available. So what are the problems that people have with private issued items? And I thought before we jumped into what the problems were, we'd actually have a look at some really interesting private issues that make me, that should, I guess, encourage you to look at private issues as possibly interesting things. So Catherine and I went through our stuff and found a bunch of stuff. So there's 2, again, not coins, but still interesting things. There's 2 first day covers there. The top one there is the first official first day cover that was released by the Postmaster General, which is the predecessor of Australia Post. And these were released without stamps on them. It was up to collectors to put stamps on them and get them cancelled at the post office. So this one dates to 1940. It's got 4 different denomination stamps there, and it's not actually cancelled. So, that is, I guess, a official release, but it was up to collectors to fill it in, to put the stamps on it and get it cancelled wherever they wanted to get it cancelled. Now, what's that worth? $5 maybe, not very much. But below that is very much a private issue first day cover, and what it is a cover that flew on a Zeppelin. And a Zeppelin is one of those big hydrogen-filled airships that the Germans flew in the 1920s and 1930s, and this one flew on the Graf Zeppelin, which was up until the Hindenburg the biggest airship that had ever flown, and it flew through Leningrad in Russia and to the North Pole. So, this is a very significant first day cover. It is very much a private issue, and, it's been privately cancelled, and, it is worth perhaps $50 or $100. So there's a really interesting private issue that is extremely collectible and topical and of far more interest than the official issue that you can see above. Yeah, I'll cover the issues, or the problems with private issues at the end. So if you just want to hold your horses, and we'll get on to that. Another really interesting private issue, again, a cover. And what's this cover? It's actually a cover that is made from a piece of aircraft fabric. And if you're here in Australia and you're watching, then you would know the aircraft that this comes from. It comes from the Southern Cross, which was, of course, the tri-motor aircraft that Sir Charles Kingsford Smith flew, and this cover is created from a piece of fabric that was from the repair kit on the Southern Cross. It's addressed, it's signed by Charles Kingsford Smith and Ulm, who I believe was his navigator and the mechanic at the time, and it's cancelled in Australia and New Zealand, and it signifies, I think, the first airmail flight from Australia to New Zealand. Again, a private issue of, I think, significant historical interest. It's something that Catherine and I, when we saw it, we really wanted it, so we purchased it. A really interesting private issue. Now, while we're on this, a lot of enterprising coin dealers and stamp dealers managed to get involved in the space program. And by space program, I mean the Mercury program, the Apollo program, and astronauts did actually carry first day covers and coins and things like that into space with them, and those items are worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. They weren't official issues, they were definitely private issues, and they have extreme historical significance. So there's other sorts of private issues out there that are extremely collectible. So let's jump onto something a bit more coiny. There's 2 really fascinating postal or philatelic numismatic covers. Now, these were both issued in the 1960s, so this is at least 25 years before Australia Post released its first postal or philatelic numismatic cover. The top one there is by Newfield, and Newfield were a company in Australia, and it's dated 1967, and that coin on there is a 1967 New Zealand Bahamas mule. So, that's a fascinating PNC. We've never seen another one. I doubt we will ever see another one. However many were released, we have no idea. There's no records or anything like that, but it is a wonderful collectible and a private issue. The bottom one there is a 99 co decimal cover, and I believe someone's already commented on that. 99 co, they made covers for all sorts of coins around the world, primarily Asia Pacific. But those of you who collect 1966 memorabilia would know there's a full set of 99 co PNCs with all the denominations on them, and that one there that you can see at the bottom is the round 50-cent piece. And of course, the big daddy of PNCs in Australia is the Yarralumla cover, which is another Newfield issue. It's got a specimen 50-cent piece on it. Now, it could be argued that it is an official release, but of course it isn't. It was the Newfield people asked to purchase specimen coins from the mint, which the mint duly supplied them, and then the Newfield people put them in covers themselves and had them cancelled at Yarralumla in Canberra. Now, they made 1,300 or 1,500, and it's the big daddy of PNCs in Australia, and certainly you hardly ever see them. They're worth more than $1,000, and you compare that with the humble Year of the Family PNC below it, which is the first official Australia Post PNC that was released, which you struggle to get $4 or $5 for. So, private issues, are they a bad thing or a good thing? I think sometimes they can be a good thing. So we'll just have a look at the last item here, which is two more private issues. Private issue coin. It's not a coin, but it's a fantasy at the top there. That, of course, is the 1967 Swan pattern dollar, or the Goose dollar, which was a coin that was struck as the result of a competition that the Australian Coin Review held in 1967. And the competition was to propose designs for a crown-sized Australian coin, and Andor Mazaris won that competition. As a result, the ACR struck, someone's going to correct me here, 1,500 uncirculated Goose dollars and 750 proof uncirculated dollars. They are fantasies, they are unofficial releases, but of course they are extremely desirable in the Australian market today. The last one I'm looking at there is, of course, a Downies carded $2 coin. Now, these are interesting collectibles and they hold a little bit of a premium in the market, but at the end of the day, it's a regular $2 coin on a nicely graphically designed card. Of no particular difference to the other private carded coin that has caused a bit of a stink this week. So I think that segues nicely into what the problems are around private issues, and it's pretty simple, really. One is that there's copyright issues. So is the person that is creating the designs using appropriately licensed material? Now, by appropriately licensed, I mean, are they just using free clip art that they don't have a license to use commercially, or have they lifted items from Wikimedia without appropriate credits, or have they lifted RAM product images or Australia Post product images and used them without permission? So, that's an issue. That is a real issue. And, I guess it's a difficult thing to police, because a lot of designers believe that, publishing image courtesy of some website or something is enough to cover themselves, but of course it isn't. You don't just get to use other people's images without their permission, even if you give them credit for it. So, does that big coin company in Melbourne that cards up coins regularly, and they put $2 coins on cards, and they produce all sorts of formats of material. Do they have appropriate imaging licensing for their design stuff? I really have no idea, and it would be incredibly difficult to find out. So you do need to be careful about the copyright. Second issue there is the publisher pretending that it's some sort of official release from Australia Post or the Royal Australian Mint? And I guess I don't have a problem with a card that says that the coin was minted by the Royal Australian Mint, but I'd probably have a problem if it said an official release of the Royal Australian Mint or released by the Royal Australian Mint. Similarly with Australia Post, if you say it's an official Australia Post release, that would have a problem. But then, what makes an official Australia Post release more desirable than an official release by a small company in Sydney or something? I don't know. I don't understand perhaps why people get a bit hot under the collar about that. Third one there is the quality. Those carded $2 coins that I mentioned earlier, I know that there has been many instances of those coins and those cards being wiped. People have popped the coins out of those cards and sent them over to be graded, and they've come back with hairlines on them or cleaned. There's also the quality of the packaging. Is the coin going to be stored correctly? Is it not going to tone? Is it not going to become damaged? And that's not just a problem that's restricted to private issuing bodies. It's also a problem with Australia Post and the Royal Australian Mint. Their packaging isn't always the best quality. Is it a legitimate issue? Now, I think all private issues, if they don't have any of those problems that I've already talked about, they are as legitimate as anything that the Mint or Australia Post puts out. If someone takes the time and effort to create a nicely designed product that is themed nicely and nicely packaged, then why isn't it a legitimate issue? I don't believe that just because it's a small business or an individual that their products are any less legitimate than anyone else. And if you like it, then by all means collect it. There's no problems with collecting it. And if you choose to collect that in preference to Australia Post stuff or Mint releases, then more power to you. And I guess the final one there is, I guess, around the ethics of the issuer. What's their motivations? And that's a harder one to understand. But don't go putting Australia Post or the Royal Australian Mint on a pedestal and thinking that their ethics are anything more than commercial. So I don't have a problem with private issuers creating things for commercial profit, because that's what Australia Post and the Royal Australian Mint does. And and that's what we do here. We run this shop to make a profit. There's no crime in that, and I don't have a problem with private issuers wanting to make money out of their releases. So that's private releases. It's an interesting topic. As I said, it comes up every 5 or 10 years, and it's worth covering again. People seem to get quite upset about it. It certainly seems to be more on the anti-private issue side of things. And I guess, if you can cover off on those things such as copyright and quality and things like that, then really I think private issues can be quite attractive things. And if you do like them, then do collect them. Right. We'll just see if there's any comments here that are worth answering. Yeah, Greg, I agree with you. The copyright images, that's a primary issue around private issues, but I think I've covered that enough. Edward has got a private issue PNC. Yeah, they're good things, Edward. I like them. I like the 99 Co PNCs. I certainly like the Yarralumla PNCs. And I guess that's about it. Okay, so Paul's asking about the paint on the $2 ambulance rolls. Now, Paul, it is different. The rolls that we had, the end coins, the paint was universally not good across all of them. And if you actually look at the way that they've applied the paint, it is different. It's a solid block of paint. It's not a pattern or stripes or dots or anything like that. And I suspect that it's designed to wear off and be retained in the low points. So, I think the chipping is quite natural because it is on the high points. And when it all chips away on the high points, it'll look okay if it's retained in the low points. So, I don't mind I don't mind the colour of the paint, and I think when it chips off appropriately, that won't be a bad looking coin. So, all right, everyone. Thank you for watching. We've gone 31 minutes today. Everyone who's commented during the live video, of course, you'll have a chance to purchase one of those ambulance rolls. We've got 2 of them available. Thank you everyone for the comments. Thank you everyone for watching and persevering and listening to me talk about private issue coins and PNCs and things today. It's a topic that I enjoy talking about. Everyone stay safe. If you've come out of lockdown in Victoria and New South Wales, I hope that you are enjoying yourselves, and hopefully Australia will be unlocked soon and we'll all get to go and visit each other, and we'll have more visitors here into the shop, and Catherine and I will get to go to the mint, which we would love to do again. Please everyone stay safe. Happy collecting. Remember, collect what you love. Okay, collect what you like. Don't be told what to collect by other people, and enjoy the hobby. That's what it's for, is to be enjoyed. Bye everyone. Have a great week.